human rights organization Amnesty International has called on the Nigerian government to stop the enforced disappearance of defenseless citizens across the country. The organization revealed that many Nigerians whose whereabouts are unknown to their families are critics of the government, making it difficult to accept such fate with its malicious clampdown on its so-called enemies. It made the disclosure in a press release titled "Nigeria Authority Must End Enforced Disappearance," obtained by Sahara reporters on Monday, being the International Day of Support for Victims of Enforced Disappearance. Speaking on the cases of some instances of the Nigerian government's critics that cannot be found, Amnesty International said, "The Nigerian government must urgently address the heinous crimes of enforced disappearances to comply with Nigeria's international law obligations," Amnesty International said today on the International Day of Support for Victims of Enforced Disappeared. Families affected by enforced disappearance live through unimaginable torment when people vanish without a trace, with the acquiescence of the state, who then denies all knowledge. It's impossible to move on. Each year, the symbolic day marks families' daily wait for the truth of the fate of their disappeared relatives. The Nigerian authorities must bring them hope for justice, stop their delaying tactics, and fulfill their promise to make an end of enforced disappearance. In the statement, it gave another instance of a sister to a 33-year-old businessman who disappeared since August 2014 after arrest by the police. The lady, whose name was not revealed for security purposes, said, "My brother's disappearance affected everyone at home. We just decided to leave everything to fate, hoping he will show up one day. But we need closure for us to know what's actually happened to him. As it is now, nobody knows whether he is alive or dead." In another instance, the organization said Nigerian security forces' attempts to clamp down on indigenous people of Biafra, Ipob militants, have led to arbitrary arrests, detentions, enforced disappearances, and extrajudicial executions in the southeast and Niger Delta area of Nigeria. The whereabouts of at least 50 suspected members of Ipob arrested in Oyigbo, Rivers State, are still unknown since their arrest in October and November 2020. The unresolved enforced disappearances of several activists underscore the need for action. Abubakar Idris, also known as Dadiyata, a vocal government critic and university lecturer, was abducted in his home in Kaduna on the 2nd of August 2019 and has not been seen since. The government has denied holding him. Amnesty International stated a number of people who have been victims of disappearance after their ugly encounter with security operatives. The statement further read, 15-year-old Emmanuel John was arrested by soldiers when they raided a synagogue at Oyigbo in Rivers State in October 2020 in search of members of the indigenous people of Biafra, Ipob. His family members have searched for him without success. His whereabouts remain unknown. Another victim, Felix Adika, 44, was last seen on 27th February 2016 after he was arrested by the DSS in Bayelsa. At the time, Felix had been working with other former militants in Niger Delta region to assess government amnesty payments. He was asked to go back and bring other former militants, but was arrested instead. In March 2019, his family learned he was in DSS detention and traveled to see him. They were asked to write an application but never saw him. His wife also lost a 5-month pregnancy after his arrest. In a similar case of enforced disappearance, Izuchukwu Okeke, 41-year-old commercial motorcycle rider, was last seen on 5th of July 2021 when he visited a police station in Owerri, Imo State. He was earlier arrested on June 17, 2021 and released after being detained for 2 weeks. He was lured back to the station and rearrested after the police accused him of informing the relatives of other detainees about the whereabouts of their sons. The police warned his relatives that they will be shot if they ever come for his bail. Since then, his whereabouts have remained unknown. The cases of at least 200 people, including former militants from Niger Delta, members of Ipob, NSAS protesters, and security suspects believed to have been subjected to unresolved enforced disappearance in Nigeria have been documented by Amnesty International. The real number is believed to be higher. Nigerian security forces often cite the anti-terror law introduced in that it allows the authorities to hold people without charge or trial in unofficial places of detention, often without contact to the outside world. In practice, clearly increase the risk of people disappearing after being detained. According to Amnesty International, the Nigeria government and its security agents are not only guilty of abducting civilians but also found culpable of denying the justice to the innocent people. It called on the government to carry out unbiased probe of all security agents that are guilty of such crimes and bring them to justice immediately. Not only these tragic disappearances, but also the government's continuing failure to establish the truth and bring justice to their families and growing stains on Nigeria's reputation. Scores of disappearance cases such as this remain unresolved and cast doubts on the Nigerian government's commitment to keeping its own citizens safe. Nigeria is bound by international legal obligations under the International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights and the International Convention for the Protection of All Persons from Enforced Disappearance, both of which it has acceded to, and investigate, prosecute, punish, and provide remedies and reparation for the crimes of enforced disappearances. The authorities must demonstrate zero tolerance for such crimes. They must take immediate action to end enforced disappearances and other serious violations, carry out independent, impartial, and effective investigations, and prosecute those in the security forces suspected of responsibility in the fair trials, Amnesty International added. They will always deny. That is their logo. They will deny even what you are seeing in their hand. They will deny they don't have it on their hands. Buhari remains Nigeria's greatest mistake. Buhari is the leader of the Fulani terrorist group. He brought them to Nigeria to help him win election in 2015. That is why he cannot name them as a terrorist group. And you can imagine the way, what is this man, Gabashi, telling us that what he has done to them is worse than even prescribing them as terrorist group. Does that make sense? But does that, oh my God. So guys, let's hear your opinion and have your take on Amnesty International information.